Hey, what's up guys? John here. Imagine owning a house and getting a knock on your door, and that knock is from the government. They tell you, you need to comply with all new energy upgrades on this property or we're going to take you to prison and fine you upwards of $15,000. It sounds crazy, sounds far-fetched, sounds, tinfoil hat, but this is what's now being proposed in the UK. And as you start to connect the dots in the UK, you can see they all trail back to America. We're going to be doing the same exact thing, and I'm going to show you how it's all breaking down, because this is going to have more of an impact on property valuations than anything ever has. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate other people about what's really going on. And if you want to fix your credit, you want to position yourself for the greatest real estate wealth transfer of all time, we'd love to help fix your credit at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item on your report, do not let it sit there. One late payment can sit on your report for 7 years, holding your score down a whopping 180 points. Don't let one or two or a few items on your credit report get in the way of a bright future. You're going to see a lot of sellers forced to sell these properties, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities for smart and savvy investors. Hopefully you're one of them. If you need help fixing your credit, we'd love to help you. Take a look at this. So this new energy bill, right? If you do not do these upgrades, it's 1 year, upwards of 1 year in prison, fines of £15,000. Now, how does this all kind of work out? And just to show you, this isn't just like one article, this is everywhere. Everyone's talking about this. New energy bill because people are jailed, right? I mean, look right here, landlords could go to prison if they don't meet these new energy, right? 2 hours ago, this just came out. So this is all, first page is basically all the last 24 to 48 hours for the most part. But this, what they want is right here, it says clearly that they want it all controlled by a national grid. So how this would work is they'd be able to basically flip the switch and shut everything down if they so chose. So when you look here, it says refrigeration, cleaning, tableware, washing, drying, textiles, storing, energy, right? Heating, air conditioning, ventilation, basically everything, the entire house. Now people might say, okay, why would they, flip the grid? Or, well, LA Times tells you, would an occasional blackout help solve this, right? This came out 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago, right? So this is, in fact, what the conversation is. And so when it's happening in the UK and they're talking about this, and now you're looking at America and you're seeing some of these changes, and then you look at CNBC today, Apple voices support for California bill proposing this. Now, I'm the only one that I know of on YouTube that has talked about these changes that are going to be coming to this economy, to the real estate market, the housing market. Nobody else is talking about this. A year and a half ago, I was telling people and warning people that this would be coming. In fact, 2 months ago, I had someone on the podcast right here saying, and I found them on miamidade.gov, they get direct funding from the US government. They're borrowing money between 0 and 1% interest. 0% interest, loaning it out to the general public on their primary residences and investment properties to do these mandatory upgrades. So she broke it all down for me. She told me how this whole thing's kind of working out. But it's just crazy how fast this is moving. So now Apple, for example, they're pushing for this new proposal, which is for businesses with $1 billion in revenue. So a lot of people say, it's $1 billion, John. They should comply with, whatever they say. Okay, but you know how this all works. It's $1 billion today, and then next year it's $1 million, and then it's 500,000, then it's 50,000, then it's to get an LLC, to get a bank account. And then that's how it all it starts high all the time, and then the threshold always changes. And so what they're saying here is that they have Scope 1 emissions, right, that are released from sources that are owned by an organization, including emissions associated with burning fuel that goes into boilers, furnaces, and vehicles. Scope 2 are indirect greenhouse gas emissions that the company incurs from buying heat and electricity and cooling buildings. Scope 3 from a company's supply chain or value chain and are difficult to track. They tend to be the largest source, right? And this is associated with the company. And this is Senate Bill 253, would require California to pass regulations by 2025 to require businesses with more than $1 billion. So, you're talking 14 months from now. The world is changing, and it's changing fast. Look at New York City, for example. New York City, they are pushing for New York City recent laws have reduced the options for residential heating to electricity, right? This is going to be over $200 million in fines. It's going to be due by 2024. January 1. You're talking 4 months from now for all these properties that are not complying with these current standards, and it's going to go to over $900 million by 2030. So these property owners have to start to comply with all this. Look at LA, for example. Last year, LA became the nation's largest city to require all new buildings to be all electric. But when it comes to unhooking cities from fossil fuels, retrofitting existing buildings to be all electric is the bigger challenge, right? You connect the dots. UK, New York City, LA. This is Miami, right? You start to look at these cities, it's very fascinating that people out there call themselves real estate investors and call themselves investors, but they don't want to look at what the future actually looks like. They want to invest based on yesterday's standards, yesterday's norm, yesterday's economy. Every month, the world's changing. Every year, the world is changing dramatically. If people are investing like it's 2017, 2018, they are about to get crushed in the future because the world's changing quickly. Look at this. Energy in buildings, for example. They say right here, implementing and enforcing building energy regulations and mandatory performance standards for existing buildings, right? This is for all of these cities. I'll show you our cities. You click here. This is basically, it's everywhere, right? All over America, all these cities all over America. And there's, by the way, many more cities. These are just the ones that have already signed on to many, many, many of the pledges. But there's a variety of different pledges, such as food intake, greenhouse gas with vehicles, with properties. There's so many different standards. I'll kind of give you a scope as to, we'll just click on a place like Phoenix, right? You go to Phoenix, you click View City Profile, you click Accelerators, then you go to, let's just say, Clean Air Accelerator, just for a reference. Before 2025 or within 5 years of joining this commitment, we will implement a substantive new policies and programs to address the top causes of air pollution and emissions with cities under our control. So you're going to be talking vehicles, you're going to be talking properties, but establish our city's baseline air pollution levels to set ambition reduction targets to meet and exceed national commitments. These actions will be taken within 2 years of signing the pledge. The target will put us towards the path of meeting this air quality guidelines for particular matter, right? So you start to look at this, they are all doing the same exact thing. All doing the same exact thing. It's going to be very fascinating to watch, to see how real estate investors are going to pivot with this if they ignore it. Because what's ultimately going to happen, they're going to get hit with a fat bill. And if they're buying their buildings now, buying it at a 4 cap, a 5 cap, and now they have to refinance from a 3% environment to a 7% or an 8% environment, and at the same exact time, insurance and taxes are going up, and they're going to get hit with a huge energy bill, this energy retrofit bill. You're just going to see a lot of people walking away from their deals. Like, no doubt, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to simply say, I can't do it. Like, look at, let's say, for example, we'll go with Washington, D.C. Click on View City Profile, you click Accelerator, and then they have, Building Accelerator, and then very similar things, right? We pledge to enact regulations and/or planning policy to ensure new buildings will operate at net zero by 2030, right? Establish a roadmap to commitments. So this is all coming to America. This is all coming to America. Evaluate the current energy demand and carbon emissions from our municipal buildings, identify opportunities for reduction. Now let's look at one other one. Let's look at, for example, we'll pick one, let's say Philadelphia, right? Philadelphia is right there. You click Our Cities, you go to Philadelphia, and you will see right here, accelerators, equity pledge, and they have their own pledges. So here it's inclusion, climate action, infrastructure projects achieve major environmental, health, social, economic benefits. They're going to be doing the same exact thing. So every single city has already signed on to these pledges. All very, very similar policies. It'll be fascinating to witness. But I'm telling you, these things they're throwing out here now with 1 year imprisonment, it sounds insane, it sounds radical, it sounds like it'll never happen. But it always starts like that, and then it slowly starts dripping and dripping and dripping to where people just it becomes normalized. People are going to start accepting it. But the big question I have is, if you have roughly half of retirees that retired from 2020 to 2023 are already living on poverty lines. This is, Fortune magazine already talked about this. How are they going to upgrade their properties? How are the average person going to be able to upgrade their property? It's the big, big, big question. That's why I think if you want to invest, get all the answers. Look at what's going on, have cash, have exceptional credit, have a killer game plan, and be patient. Wait for that deal. not be, idle, hunt for the deal, but let the deal come to you in terms of make that price so attractive to where, you're factoring in all the risk, all the different changes that are going to be coming to this real estate market that we've never experienced in the past that most investors are completely ignoring. Drop below, hit the like button, Avion IG, and if you want to fix your credit, we'd love to help you position your credit so that you can invest. You can put yourself in front of a lender, and that lender is looking at that credit score saying, you know what, this is the rate we can offer you, right? They can put you in a good spot. So we'd love to help fix your credit to put you in a position to where you'll be able to present yourself in the best possible light to a lender. So go to greatcreditfast.com. That's greatcreditfast.com. Schedule a free strategy session, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.